Today we're going to talk about the basics of Latin, the alphabet, how to pronounce the letters, and the basic numbers. So a few terms before we start out. A vowel is a type of letter in Latin and English that you might recognize. A, E, I, O, U, they create the actual syllable. And then the consonant can change the syllable sound, but it needs to be attached to a vowel to create a syllable. So you have long syllables. They're going to be created by adding a long vowel, and you'll notice them because they will have a macron or a long mark over it, over the vowel. Short syllables are actually not going to be marked in your textbook, but if they need to be marked out, you'll see a little U over the vowel, but once again, it's not usually going to be marked. And an accent mark you will see in the dictionary. An accent mark tells you where the stress should be. So you can say address or you can say address. So you have the accent on different syllables. Once again, these are not going to be marked in the normal Latin passage, but they will be marked in the dictionary. You don't have to worry about these. So the Latin alphabet, we use the Latin alphabet, actually. So these letters should look familiar. So the letter A in Latin is pronounced ah. So if you make a smile with your face and say, like, ah, like you're going to the doctor, but make sure you're smiling, ah, that's the sound the A makes. So you can say ara, aranea, ambulat, amica. The letter B is made by putting your lips together and using your vocal cords. B. It's just like in English. So you say bene, bonus, brevis, bula. The letter C always makes a K sound. It doesn't matter if the next letter is an I or an E, it's always going to make the letter K sound. So caudit, calvus, canis, kiwis. It's not civis, it's kiwis. The letter D makes the normal English D sound, so decem, deus, dicit, donum. The letter E can make two different sounds. If it's short, it makes the sound like an egg. So ego, ex, exit, et. But it can also be long and make an A sound. So ehu, ebrius. The letter F makes a normal F sound. So fabula, facet, ferox, fossa. The letter G is always hard. It always makes a G sound. So gladius, graecia, gravis, gens. Not gens, gens. That hard G, like a G. The H is usually pronounced, sometimes it's not. So you'll sometimes see the word harena, but sometimes you'll see it arena. It doesn't always count as a letter also. So we also have Hercules, Heus, and Hispania. You're going to pronounce the H if it's written. The letter I can make three different sounds. If it's a short I, it sounds like the I in it. So id, ignis. If it's a long I, which will be marked, it's going to make an E sound. So idem, infans. And if the I comes right before another vowel, it's actually going to make a Y sound. So like Julius and Iocus. And sometimes this gets written as a J in some dictionaries. The letter L makes a normal L sound. So latium, lapis, lares, lectus. The letter M makes a normal M sound. Magis, melior, me Hercule, mortuus. The Romans didn't always pronounce the letter M if it was at the end of a word. So they would kind of start saying it and then forget halfway through. So like amica, So you, instead of saying amicam, you would just forget to close your lips at the end of that. N makes a normal N sound, nasus nihil novem nox. O, once again, two sounds, the long and the short. So the short one, octo obesus, and then the long one, orator os. So ah, like you make a circle with your mouth and say ah, and then o. P makes a normal P sound, parens, pars, pecunia, poeta. Q is always going to be with a U, and it's going to make a qua, KW sound. Qualis, quad, quatuor, quies. R, the Romans would roll their R's, we think. So rapit, res, rex, rusticus. S is going to make an S sound like a hiss. It's never going to make a Z sound like we sometimes make it in English. So sacra, sanguis, secundus, semper. T is going to make a T sound. Sometimes we make it a D sound in English, but it's always going to make a T sound. So tacite, talis, tres, toga. U can make two different sounds. It can make a short sound and it can make a long sound. So the short U is going to be an so ubi and umquam. And then the long one is going to be oo, so unus, utilis. V is actually going to make a W sound, and that's because secretly U and V are the same letter, and V is a consonantal U, but we're not worrying about that right now. But so it makes a W sound. So vehemens, ventus, versus, venum. The letter X is never going to be at the beginning of a word, and it makes a KS sound, so the word X. You'll notice we did not have some letters. You didn't have a K because that's not going to be in Latin unless it comes from Greek. Same thing with the letter Y. Same thing with the letter Z. So there are letters missing that we don't have. J doesn't exist in Latin. W doesn't exist in Latin. Now this word, diphthongs. A diphthong is when you have two different vowels combining to create a separate sound. So we have AE, which makes an I sound. So like Caesar, Aemilia. AI also makes the same sound, like in the name Gaius. AU makes an ow, like ow, I just stubbed my toe. Aurelia, Claudia. EI, not always a diphthong, but most of the time, makes an A sound, so dende. EU makes a U sound, so eugipi. And OE makes an oi sound, like oidipus. And OU, which is really more Greek, but I'm putting it up there anyway, makes an oo sound, like uranos. And actually, the Romans wouldn't use that one. So numbers. The number 1 is unus, and it's represented by the Roman numeral I. And you double the I, and you get duo. 3 I's, you get tres. And duo can be duo, duai, duo, and tres can be tres or tria. And then sometimes the Romans would write 4 I's for quatuor or 4, and sometimes they would have I in front of the V, which shows 1 from 5, which is 4, so quatuor. Roman numeral V represents 5, so quinque. VI is sex, so 6. VII, septem, 7. VIII is octo. IX, which is 1 from 10, 10x being 10, is noem or 9. Then X is the Roman numeral for 10. And then you add 1 to that, I or XI, undecim. 12 is duodecim. 13 is tridecim. 14 is quatuordecim. 15 quindecim. 16 is sedecim, 17 is septendecim, and 18 is duodecimviginti, which literally means 2 from 20, even though the Roman numeral is 10 plus 5 plus 3. And then 19 is 10 plus 1 from 10, so that's the Roman numerals, but then the word is undecimviginti, which is 1 from 20, so 19. And then 20 is viginti. I'm not going to do all the numbers, but triginta and then triple X would be 30. XL, 10 from 50, is quadraginta or 40. L is representing 50 or quinquaginta. L plus an X, sexaginta. Then septuaginta for 70. Octoginta for 80. Nonaginta for 90. And centum, which is represented by the letter C, is for 100. D is quingenti, which is 500, and M is mille.